Good morning, folks. It's 5:50 in the morning, and we have Hurricane Beryl about to make landfall in the Yucatan here. Things are looking pretty nasty on some of the live cams here. Struggle that we're going to have today is going to be radar. We don't have a great source for that, but we're doing the best we can. We're using Zoom Earth for that. But as you can see, landfall is imminent. This was from the 5 o'clock advisory, so I would anticipate landfall to occur within the next hour and a half, probably sooner than that. This storm has maintained a pretty good clip of forward speed here. It's at 15 miles an hour, so like I said, it won't take long for this to make landfall. Probably be around for at least a couple hours for sure. I do have an errand to run a little bit later this morning, so I don't know how long the stream will be exactly. I'll leave it to any of you guys that want the stream to continue running while I'm doing that errand. I'll do a voting poll momentarily, though. This is the current information that we have on Beryl at the moment. This is the 4 o'clock advisory. Central Daylight Time, 5 o'clock for mine. But maximum sustained wind speed is at 110 miles an hour. There was a period yesterday where this did strengthen back up to a Category 3. But, of course, wind shear has helped keep this storm hampered down just a little bit, even though it's done exceptionally well to overcome those conditions. Of course, as we see this go over land, it is anticipated to weaken. So, since we've talked about that now, let's go ahead and take a look at some of the cameras we have over here. This is over towards Playa del Carmen. Not a great example of winds here, but we can clearly see the storm surge. And then if we go over to another spot in Cancun here, this is where you can see the winds. We're going to see that begin to increase as we continue to go forward here. And then we also have another spot where the winds are screaming at. This is over towards Royal Sand. This is back over towards Cancun here. So we'll be talking about that. We'll try and see if we can get some kind of radar going that's a little bit more usable. I don't expect much in the way of tornadoes at this point in time. Usually you would get that a little bit earlier in advance. But of course, since we're out of country and not everybody has the same kind of weather infrastructure that the U.S. does, it's a little tricky. So all I'm asking is that you bear with me. If you're tuning in, hit that like button. Also hit that subscribe button if you're new around here, because we're going to continue to cover this as long as we can, at least. At some point we'll probably rest up a little bit and then prepare for what may very well be a Texas landfall down the line. Because, as you can see, that cone continues to push off to the northeast here. And my concern starts to increase each day, or with each run, really, for areas like Brownsville, Corpus Christi as time goes on. Let's go ahead and see if I think there was a camera here that actually had sound as well, which is pretty cool and also kind of terrifying. Let's duplicate this. See if we can't find what I had stumbled across earlier. It might have been phase 1, or is it this one? Keep in mind, some of these cameras are also down, by the way. Oh, we already have this one. I think we're already looking at this. I think it's this one. Oh, yep, that's the one that's down from earlier. Tried to set this up in advance as best as I could. Phase 1. I think phase 1 might have the camera. One of these has a camera. Can also, like I said, also very good example of the winds right now. You can see the palm trees blowing here. That lets you know I'm not from the beaches. Because here where I live, a lot of pine trees, not palm trees. And also let you know it's kind of early in the morning. Is this camera down too? Dang. Or is that just a still? Gonna have some music on in just a moment. There it is. That's the one that I found earlier. Little hard to see though. So apologies there, but we're doing our best to make it work. And make sure you guys are hitting that like button. You can see the palm trees over here in this corridor, so like I said, conditions are going to continue to deteriorate as that eye draws closer here. I'm gonna turn that down to where it's not too heavy up in your ears. Also, let's see if we can get some tunes going here. Go full screen with that. Tulum is in the path, unfortunately, or they're going to be more on the south side of the storm, but they are going to receive their share of impacts right now. Best thing I could tell him to do at this point probably would be to... Dang. Yeah, it's going to be super close. He's going to be very close to the eye, but what I would do in that case, I would probably try to make sure I'm not... I'll try to find somewhere in the middle ground if he's in like a condo or anything. The homes, it could be hit or miss. I mean, it's hard to say. This is a 110 mile per hour storm, so it can definitely do its share of damage. I'm just being honest. I really wish he would have gotten out of there. I don't know what cell phone signal is like over there right now. I would say that it might be a little bit difficult to reach anyone right now. Do you have a email to reach him by or anything like that? I'm gonna turn this down a little bit. The good news is once the eye passes, the storm itself, it's starting to look like it's falling apart on the right side. So if he can get through this part without much issue, then I would expect him to be able to contact you in just a little bit. All we can do really at this point, unfortunately, is hope for the best. Because if you and I are talking about the same Tulum, that's it right there. And that's a sinner. Oh, not a problem, not a problem. I do this pretty often. We did this the other day when we were able to get coverage of Jamaica. Wasn't able to cover when it was going through Grenada, unfortunately. I didn't quite have my resources together for that one. Yeah, we do this for hurricanes, we do this for severe weather, winter storms even. I think we did at least 1 or 2 last year. But yeah, any opportunity that I can when I'm not working in particular, I try to cover the weather, make forecast videos, that kind of stuff. I love this stuff. But I also want to help keep people safe. But I also appreciate you tuning in. I know it's early in the morning too. still trying to wake up myself, to be honest. Look at those waves, by the way. That is incredible. That is an incredible view. We can expect these winds to continue to increase over the next couple hours here for sure. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. Take another view from Playa del Carmen right now. I'm going to try and alternate between these cameras as best as we can. Because obviously with there being a whole hurricane off the coast here, there's going to be a lot of action. So it's going to be a lot to keep up with. So we're going to kind of just flip through the cameras. If you have any requests, definitely let me know in chat. Thing is, there's a lot of cameras available over towards Cancun right now. These pine trees are really going right now. Let's stick with this one for a little bit. I may not do much, but also if you can consider sharing this stream out, that might help get some of the views up too. Not too concerned about that, but at the same time, we want to try to provide as much information as we can to the people that need it. There's some nasty rain bands that are going through here. So while I'm at it here, I'm gonna try to keep an eye on the satellite and an eye on the radar. So this isn't a great depiction of the Doppler radar over towards this region. There isn't much to really work with over here. So I'm just using the best that I can conjure up here. But over towards just to the north of the Yucatan channels where the heaviest rain is going to make landfall just to the south of Playa del Carmen, it looks like. If we look at the wind profile right now, the strongest winds are still yet to go onshore just yet. But I would expect to see that continue. I would expect to see an increase in the winds as we go further along within the next hour or so. Here's a full look at Beryl from the satellite here, by the way. I'm trying to make sure I have the right image here because you do have to update these. Yeah, it does look like it's starting to weaken, even though it hasn't fully made landfall. Like the interaction with land is definitely not doing it any favors. It's already in an environment where it's been battling with a little bit of wind shear here too. And this is us rotating through the cameras here. I would expect to see an increase in that storm surge here. Actually checking to see when high tide would have occurred here. I think it already has, so we might be in pretty good shape here. I think it might be, if anything, maybe low tide. Yep, I had it right. We're on low tide. I'm a huge weather nerd, but as far as the tides and stuff, I'm not quite as familiar with it. I'm happy we got that right, though. The next high tide will be at 7:41 Eastern. Or at least that's what this chart says here that I'm looking at. Oh, here's a nice wave coming in. Here's a nice set of waves coming in. You can see them breaking right here pretty clearly. Trying to get this out the way for you guys. There we go. Seems like the winds are holding steady though right now. Nothing is on a major increase as of just yet. Like I said, we still have a little bit of time before that eye comes in. Also, again, asking that you guys are hitting that like button if you could. Really would appreciate that. And also, if you're new around here, definitely would hope that you consider hitting that subscribe button too. Here nice and early for landfall here in Mexico. We were able to cover the close pass to Jamaica. We missed the one in Grenada, but we will also be here when Mexico comes in as well. No problem, Liz. Like I said, I love doing this. I do this whenever I can. If I'm not doing this, I'm often making forecast videos, but I'm a huge weather nerd here. Wind's starting to increase just slightly here over the last little bit. I'm gonna guess that we're getting probably up to about maybe 35 to 40 mile per hour winds with this, just from looking at the palm trees here. Don't worry about these palm trees though. It takes a lot, and I mean a lot, to take them down. So if you're near a palm, if you ever end up near a palm tree during a big storm, you can rest a little easier if it's well taken care of. Like, you have to have like a pretty strong wind event, like well over 100 miles an hour to take those down. Also, I'm hoping the music isn't too loud. I'm trying to keep the volume pretty balanced. I know not everybody is a metalhead. I am, but you know. This is probably the best view that I've seen out of all the cameras available right now. Look at all those waves coming in. That is a sight to behold. The amazing thing about this is the fact that a lot of the winds are actually pushing the waves like kind of parallel to the shore, not necessarily onto the shore right now. So this will help mitigate some of that storm surge. Still might get pretty intense over there though, nonetheless. Based off what I'm seeing right now, we're going to switch screens real quick. I'm trying to get a good look at the center of circulation here if I can. I'm going to, because I think this is going to be very close to Tulum. Let's say that the center is right about here. Oh, no. I got the wrong tool up. I'd say we're about 20 miles away or so from a landfall here. So, like I said, really within the next hour, I expect this to come on shore. So, I would say rough estimate on time here. Say maybe 7:05, maybe. No, not 7:05. Probably like 7:15, maybe 7:25. I'll say somewhere in that time frame is when I would guess an official landfall would occur. But that's really an educated guess as to the exact minute. It's something I've never even done before, by the way. Let's go back. We have a couple of different angles where we can kind of get a good look at the cameras here. You can see, like I said, with low tide being in effect right now, we're not really getting a whole lot in the way of storm surge. And then on top of that, like I said before, winds kind of seem like they're being pushed parallel to the shores here. So like I said, I do think that's going to help kind of lower the storm surge impacts just slightly. Beach erosion might be a different story though. But I mean, that's to be expected with hurricanes and tropical storms as they're making landfall. Here's a pretty good wave right there. It's kind of just got that accumulative effect there. You can see how the water still is being pushed on shore, but just not to an extreme extent. Like what happened in Jamaica the other day. That was a better example of winds being pushed onshore, or winds going onshore, and the storm surge impacts were much higher. Of course, the hurricane was also stronger too. But where you end up in comparison to that eye is also important. That's why you always got to watch the cone, because the impacts always span a little further out than what the actual center of circulation's path is. let's take a look from the Royal Cancun here. See, the winds are still blowing pretty strong, but nothing super intense at the moment. We haven't seen the strongest gust yet, obviously, but we can anticipate things to intensify as we continue to go on here. Yep, this is Cancun right now. Cancun and Playa del Carmen that we're looking at, Ed. Or Edo. It's looking pretty nasty over here right now. You did? Oh, dang. But yeah, we're looking from Royal Cancun Resort right here. Yeah, they're getting some pretty solid storm surge. I think one saving grace for them right now is the fact that they're getting winds that are parallel to the shore instead of it being pushed onshore. So there's some good news there. Oh, dang. Hopefully they're alright. I don't think it's been too bad so far. I haven't seen much in the way of damage. Of course, it's nighttime and I can't see everything with the cameras with it being dark right now. Yeah, it's weak. It's in a weakening trend right now. It hasn't even made landfall yet technically, but does look like it definitely isn't what it once was. Like, I remember when we were covering this as it made its close pass to Jamaica here. And it's pretty intense. I'm in Atlanta, actually. Atlanta, Georgia. Here's Royal Sands, by the way. You have a nice little rotation of cameras that I'm going in between right now. Yeah, I'm not anywhere near the action. Just a major weather enthusiast, that's all. Here in Atlanta, we tend to get more along the lines of tornadoes. But right now, we're just getting a huge heat wave. Getting 90 to 100 degree days. Just thankfully, my work right now is in an off season. Man, this is brutal. It's been brutal working outside. Yeah, beach erosion is probably going to be a big problem with this one. Yeah, the waters over this region, especially if this were to have gone a little bit further over to the northeast, I think that would have made for huge problems for the U.S. as the track now is actually expecting this to maybe impact South Texas. So when the time comes, we'll probably be live again Monday night or Monday morning to cover this. Or actually Sunday night. because it looks like landfall might be around 2 a.m. Yeah, just outside of Brownsville. The coverage will actually be better then because I have more resources to work with, it being the U.S. It's amazing just how spoiled we are in the U.S. when it comes to our weather coverage. Like, it's super comprehensive. In other places, it's just kind of hard to keep up with. It's hard to find the same kind of resources with radar. It is actually expected to strengthen again. It's going to make it to Category 1. Because it's going to weaken into a tropical storm as it's going over the Yucatan here. So once it passes over Meridia, this is going to end up being like a 60-mile-per-hour tropical storm. Then it's going to go back over the waters of Campeche Bay and then into the Gulf, and that's when we'll start to see some strengthening again. Yeah, I know, that's the crazy part. That is the crazy part. Like, I remember when Beryl was a tropical wave and when it first made the radar here in the channel, we pretty much have a whole timeline of when Beryl first started forming all the way up to now. When all's said and done, I can literally make that into a playlist as a timeline. And then on top of that, the earliest Category 5 to ever form in the Atlantic too. It's absolutely insane. All while in the meanwhile here, we are seeing an uptick in winds here. We might be getting into 50, 60, maybe even beyond 60 miles an hour here. Go ahead and take this full. Getting close to time to shave again. Ouch. I would anticipate landfall to occur within the next hour here. Yeah, 110 miles an hour at the moment. Yeah, but I don't think those winds have quite made it on shore just yet. It's close to landfall, though. It's very close. It's within about 20 miles, I'd say. Within about 20 to 25 miles. So those winds are going to kick up. We're eventually going to see those bigger gusts coming in. We're seeing it now. We're getting up to about 60, maybe 70. Because the actual hurricane force wind field is pretty small, actually. Alright, if we actually go ahead, I wish I could zoom in with this map here. But those hurricane force winds, I'm going to have to actually look at the notes here if there is any available to me. Wait, I know what to do. Okay, so hurricane force winds. I'm trying to see the part where it says how far out they extend from the center. It's just giving me probabilities. Daggone it. Playa del Carmen. This is over towards Playa del Carmen right now. It's not really showing much in the way of the trees. It's definitely showing the waves more than anything else right now. Might need to add another camera to the rotation here. I'm too hungry to see that, okay? Oh yeah, that's the camera that's down. Really? They're that far? I would have never guessed. Yeah, this is the only one that I have available in Playa del Carmen. Everything else seems like it's down right now, unless there's another one that you know about. Let's try this one. There we go. There we go. Yeah, I had someone that had their brother in Tulum earlier talk in chat. They said that they stuck around. And they lost contact with them not long ago. So I guess Tulum's a pretty popular spot then, based off what you're telling me. I need to check. One of these days I'm gonna go visit out of country. Or I'm gonna go out of country and tour. Yeah. Yeah, I had to tell them that Tulum was pretty much right in the path of the eye here, unfortunately. That's the bittersweet side to this, is whenever we have to tell people some bad news that their area is in the path, or their family's area is in the path. Flight radar 24. Alright, let me check that out. I have a couple of different screens that I use. I'll keep the camera up for right now, but I'm going to check that out and see if that's a better source. Our main specialty here, truthfully, on the channel is actually more severe weather. But we do cover hurricanes. This is a nifty looking resource, though. Alright. Don't be a stranger, Edo. We'll be around. We'll probably be around for a few hours at the very least. Because a little bit later this morning I actually have my own errands to run, but I at least wanted to try and cover some of this. At least as close as I could up to the landfall if I don't cover it completely. But see you next time, man. Like I said, don't be a stranger. Sure to hit that subscribe button. We'll be covering Texas. Okay, so Liz, I'm on flight radar 24 here. Trying to find a radar site. I can look at the air traffic just fine, which is awesome. But it's not showing any radar right now. Wait. Oh, I have to unlock it. Oh, okay. Free trial. I can do free trial. Yeah, because I'm a little down on money right now. I just paid my rent. So, yeah. And then also Radar Omega cost as it is right now. Okay, so weather radar. Oh, okay, so it is free. Good. Thank you for that. Thank you for that resource. That is awesome. What? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it does have the, yeah, okay, so it does cost. Crap. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to pull it up after all. Well, that sucks. But the best that I can do right now is zoom Earth. Oops. I want to keep that going. Wait, where did... I thought I had that open still. Okay, there it is. The best that I can do for radar right now might just be zoom Earth, because when I just tried to pull it up, it just said I need to be like a gold member. It's alright. But zoom Earth's radar is not incredible when it comes to when it comes to tracking hurricanes, from what I've found out with the Jamaica stream. Like I know there's more. I know there's more precipitation to the south than this. Looks like like I said, it looks like we're still pretty close to landfall. We're still not quite at landfall just yet. Let me check the pressure. Also, you guys, if you're just tuning in, please, if you could, hit that like button. Helps out the channel a lot. Also, hitting that subscribe button would help a lot. It doesn't cost anything. Get weather updates pretty often on the channel here, not just with hurricanes, but with severe weather in general, heat waves at times. Although we've been putting a lot of focus on Beryl as of late and severe weather. But yeah, we do try to cover as many forms of weather as we can, mostly within the US, but sometimes we do go outside of it, like in this case here. Vessel finder? Ooh, wave maps. That actually sounds really good. Yeah, as far as like the tropics are concerned, I'm still kind of limited outside of the US. Like, of course, if there's a US landfall, I have much more available to me. Okay, so let me see what I can find here. Let me go back and look at some of the waves that are coming in now from Playa del Carmen. Yeah, those waves have definitely picked up now just from looking at that. Let's go full. It's getting harder to see because the rain's really starting to pick up now too. Yeah, it's not gonna let me. It's not gonna let me see it. It's saying everything's locked. That's crazy, dude. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's okay. It's okay. I'm pretty sure there's some other sources I can find. I just need to do some more digging around. It is amazing though just how much traffic goes through the Gulf though. That is incredible to see. What a sight. Yeah, they're definitely locked on computer. That's what I'm on. Yeah, I don't think a phone could handle doing streaming with OBS or Streamlabs. Like that just takes up, it takes up so much CPU. It's ridiculous, honestly. Maybe a tablet could, but I definitely do not have that right now. It's on the bucket list, though. Yeah, it's getting so rainy to the point where we can't see anything. It's wind-driven rain at this point over here towards Playa del Carmen right now. Alright, let's go ahead and look at Cancun here again. Just go through our rotation with the cameras right now. Here's some wind here. Let's go ahead and take this full for a second. Probably see. Okay, we're probably getting close to about 60 at times. We're gusting at about 60, maybe 70 right now. We still haven't made it quite to hurricane force just yet. That eye is getting close though. But Cancun's further to the north, so I don't think we'll quite get there. Hey, we even saw some lightning. With the stronger hurricanes, sometimes you'll see lightning occur with landfalls here. It doesn't always happen, so it's actually pretty rare. If you see continuous amounts of lightning with a hurricane as it's making landfall, it just lets you just know how strong it is, because it takes a lot of convection to do that. Same thing with hail. Which is usually, you're not going to find that on the surface. You'll find that up in the air. Usually you'll hear the hurricane hunters talk about that in particular. Also, to anyone that is tuning in for the first time this morning, we are covering Hurricane Beryl as it's making impending landfall towards the Yucatan over here. Definitely make sure you guys are hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button if you could. I'd like to at least try to get to 10 likes. Let's see if we can get back towards Playa del Carmen here. A little further to the south is where I would expect the most significant impacts right now. Oh, I've heard of Windy. Windy's actually pretty good. Zoom Earth and Windy are the ones that I've used. I tend to use... I think I used Windy a bit more when Radar Omega was down last year during a stream. Or it wasn't working for me properly. I know that much. It does slightly better than Zoom Earth, actually, or it looks a little better at the very least. Then again, when I think about it, a lot of the weather radars with when it comes to hurricanes, it can be kind of funky. Oh yeah, I've used media blue before, but mainly for webcams. I've never really used the actual weather radar. Actually, it's kind of shocking to me. I'm gonna switch over. But yeah, Wendy's weather radar looks a lot better. Looks a lot. It also looks a little bit better organized on here. Oh, I've used Ventusky for weather models because on the Discord server we have a few people that live in Spain, and we were looking at some forecast trends on there, which is pretty cool. mm. The main thing is I'm kind of greedy and I want the fancy stuff. Like I want to be able to look at the wind velocities. Like I'm trying to find some tropical tornadoes in the midst of all this too. One way the channel's kind of risen to prominence is because of the siren that I made for it. It's unique. But I don't like to sound it unless obviously there's something going on, like a tornado, for example. So there's that. But thanks for the plugs. Thanks for the sources, guys. These are great plugs. No, it's a little too early for the moderators to be up right now. A lot of them are probably knocked out cold right now. Oh god. I knew somebody was gonna ask. Okay. You may like it, you may not. Remember, I'm called Thai Metalhead Weatherman for a reason. But I made this siren myself recording guitar. But here you go. It's pretty simple, really. Just regular siren with some guitar feedback. That's pretty much all there is to it. But I don't see anyone else doing that. Yeah, that's it though. But a lot of people have actually been really positive about it. Like, I think it does a good job of getting the message across. Let's go ahead and take a look at Playa del Norte again. I'm going to try to see if I can find some extra webcams over there, more towards Playa del Carmen and Tulum, or Tulum. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. But yeah, I'm going to keep an eye on that, on those areas in particular, because I do think that's going to be a point of interest as we keep going here. Wait, I think I might have found something too. Yep, I did find something. Oh, it's really nasty over here. Alright, I'm about to show you guys what I've found in Tulum here. Take this out of full screen. Bring this over to you guys. This is Tulum right now that we're looking at. This is where the eye is going to be making its close pass here. It may go just, and I mean just barely north of here. And you can tell that conditions are really deteriorating. You can barely see your hand. You could probably barely see your hand in front of your face looking at this right now. And then look at the waves. I think Playa del Carmen right now is probably going to have some increase in storm surge as well. It does look like some of the winds are shifting now to where we're getting more onshore wind. Onshore wind is usually not good when it comes to storm surge. Yeah, this is definitely where we've seen the worst conditions so far. There's no question about it. I'm going to see if I can find something else over here too. Well, we got one beach cam here, it looks like so far. There's got to be a couple more around here somewhere. Yeah, that's the beach cam. Okay, I think I found one more. Oh, looks like that camera is actually down. This storm's actually taking out quite a few web cameras today. Or this morning. Impacts have been palpable, to say the least. Oh, look at this view right here. Oh, wow. That is incredible. Look at all the waves. My goodness. What a view. Look at that. That is really something. I didn't know Wendy had webcams available. That's pretty cool. That's really, that's actually really helpful. It's 4 years ago. Yep, cameras are down. Yep, this is the only, we only got one camera available in Tulum. The other ones are indeed down. At least from what I've been able to find so far here. Look at those waves coming in. Storm surge is increasing. Winds are definitely increasing over towards Cancun again. Let's look at play at El Carmen while we're at it. Winds are actually starting to calm down just a little bit over here. Just slightly. Or at least the rain is. We must be getting close to the eye now. Let's go ahead and look at the cloud deck here. I think that center is just about on shore now. Another thing to make note of here is I'm noticing that northeast trend is continuing with this storm, so this may pass through the Yucatan part of Mexico pretty quickly here. So if that ends up being the case, we may very well see this get out into open water even sooner than forecast. And if so, that could become a problem as we go further down the line. The wind shear over the Gulf is still there, but it's not quite as impressive as what I would look for in regards to weakening the storm further. So Texas, once again, you need to be paying attention. If you know anyone here and you're watching that lives in South Texas, you need to start preparing because this storm is likely heading your way. Like based on the upper level wind pattern that I've seen over the last few days, I would actually anticipate this to maybe continue to take that little slight jog off to the northwest instead of west-northwest. If it would have went west-northwest, then I would have said that it would probably end up staying over towards Mexico. But with this jog to the northeast here, areas like Brownsville could be in play, even maybe even as far north as Corpus Christi. Also, I haven't even eaten breakfast yet, you guys. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was eager to get on and try to cover this as it was making landfall. So I'm gonna probably grab something quick to eat, and I'm gonna jump right back here. At some point in the morning, within the next couple hours too, I will have to run some errands. So maybe on for another hour and a half, and then we'll be on our way out. But I will be right back. Here's the image of Radar Omega here. There's nothing quick to fix, so I'm just gonna have to munch on some chips here. Gonna try to keep the ASMR down though. Don't worry. Alright, I'm trying to see if we can confirm the landfall at this point. I think it's just happened. I think it literally has just happened, this landfall here. We've officially had Beryl make landfall here towards the Yucatan here. I think it was just to the north of Tulum. I think it was over towards Puerto Aventuras, or maybe towards Akumal. But I do think this storm has officially made landfall now. You can see the center circulation here. So we'll see this probably continue its northeastward trek here. This is literally like right on the edge of this main line here, so we might see this wobble back a little bit to the west, northwest, or maybe even to the southwest just slightly. But I think that slight little jog to the northeast might continue. So next areas that the eye is going to pass over here is towards Chemex. I don't know how to pronounce that one. I'm not going to lie to you. My Spanish is not incredible. I'm not horrible with it, but I'm not great. I'm not fluent. I'll put it that way. But yeah, if anyone wants to correct me in chat, feel free. I will not be offended. But Nuevo Durango is next. Excon. I have no idea how to pronounce these. I'm just not even gonna try at this point. But we're gonna see this move through pretty quick from the looks of it. It's gonna quickly get back out to the water here soon. You can tell everything's starting to calm down over here towards Playa del Carmen. Waves are still pretty intense though. You can tell the rainfall starting to lighten up over here, because at one point we couldn't even see anything on camera. Now we can see the waves pretty clearly for the first time in a while. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at the winds now. I do think this is slightly behind. I do think that eye has already made landfall at this point now. think we're already either making landfall or we're just passing the point where we've made landfall here. Let me see if I can get some reported winds here, if it's at all possible. Doesn't look like we're getting anything. Does look like we're seeing conditions improve over towards San Miguel right now, which is good news. We're alright, we're starting to get towards the backside of the storm now. We're going to start to see conditions really deteriorate rapidly here for a brief period. You already can see the winds blowing in a different direction with the Tulum camera here. I think we might have lost this camera here. Either that or the power could have possibly gone out. Yep, I think we lost it. Might have lost this camera too. Oh no, we still have it, I think. Nope, we lost it. Yeah, we lost this one too. We lost this one a couple minutes ago. We still have the Royal Sands camera here. This is over towards Cancun. It's still working. We're starting to get some daylight here so we can actually get a scope of what's going on here. Here comes the winds coming from the other side now. So yeah, we're definitely on the backside of the storm. This has 100% made landfall now. Alright, so looking at the waves, man, that's been like the main thing for this stream. Has just been the winds and the waves, of course. Like I said, we're getting some pretty strong winds from the backside of this system here, but the waves are absolutely something to behold here. Thing is, though, now that the eye is starting to make landfall here, we're going to start to get these winds around the backside here, and that's going to push more of the storm surge in. So it's going to be more towards the back half where we get that storm surge and flooding threat here. Like I said, I do think we need to update this just slightly. You know, it's just a little bit of issue here. The newest update, by the way, with the tropics is going to come in within the next hour here, so we will see some progress with this storm eventually when it comes to some of these other sources that we're using here. But the most up-to-date source that we can use, of course, is the satellite. And it's pretty clear to me, it's very apparent that Beryl has indeed made landfall at this point. Go ahead and refresh this and show it. I also want to thank you guys for tuning in this morning. I know it's early, but I appreciate the support. You can kind of see it. You can kind of make it out here where the eye is. It's definitely, you can tell that it's definitely made landfall at this point. You could also tell just based off of the cameras that we were looking at when it started to calm down for a minute. Alright, so now we're going to go back and see what webcams are still working. Forget that these cameras over here are down, or two of them are. Here comes some more waves. Like I said, you can anticipate the storm surge to be at its most impressive during this time frame here within the next hour. Go ahead and take this full. Look at those bigger wave tops back here. Yeah, you can even see some of the signs of beach erosion already starting to occur here. These little channels right here. Still looks kind of minor at the moment, but we'll have to see how things progress throughout the day here for the region. Because even though the center of circulation's past, the impact's been much wider than just the center, of course, as we know. And we'll see that more, especially as we look towards the northern part of Mexico and then also southern Texas in regards to potential landfall. As I've said before in the stream, it does look like there's an increasing chance of a direct impact to southern Texas as well now. Mexico was always in the equation for that landfall, but it looks like with that slight northeast jog that we've been talking about on and off on the stream, Does look like southern Texas is in the mix later down the line here. Then the next couple of days we'll have a pretty good idea of what to expect next. Alright, let's go ahead and see what's next, or what's available here to look at. As far as some of the resorts here, it looks like everything's done pretty well. I mean, you would expect with this region to get as many hurricanes as they do, for these houses to be able to stand up to some of these pretty well. And we're definitely seeing that over here. So props to the Latinos there. Still have some pretty strong winds going on over here towards Cancun still, from the looks of it. This is an incredible view, by the way. Just absolutely incredible view of the waves. It's almost breathtaking. I can only imagine what it would be like to be there. It depends on if you don't mind dealing with the sideways rain and smacking you in the face and the wind. But having a view of it would be cool, but I don't know if you would like being out in it. I don't even think I would like being out in it. I love storms. Alright, trying to check and see if these cameras are coming back anytime soon. Sure doesn't look like it. This camera still works though. Here comes a bigger wave right here. The waves are breaking in a way to where the storm surge isn't that bad starting out. But like I said, it takes, in time, we'll probably see some bigger waves come in. I'll go a little further inshore. More often than not, when we see storm surge, usually the backside of the storm is more infamous with it than the front side, than the initial hit from the eye wall. Let's look towards Playa del Carmen again. Beryl has now come in on the latest update here as a weakened tropical storm at this point. We've had quite the decrease in strength here. Oops. Did not mean to click that. Ah, shoot. Now I lost the page. There we go. And we, just like we confirmed earlier, landfall came in not long ago. Okay, actually, so this is going to weaken to a tropical storm pretty quickly, but I think it's still a Cat 2. Let me look at the latest update here. Yep, that confirms it. This was as of 7:05 or 6:05 Eastern Time. Beryl made landfall on the Yucatan Peninsula here. I don't know what the latest update is on this still, though. I think it's actually 7:05. I think it's 6:05 Central Time, not Eastern. Wait, hang on. Daggone daylight savings time. It's mainly a thing in the U.S., but not in the rest of the world. We're the only country that still does that, so it confuses the heck out of me. But yeah, 6:05 Eastern Standard Time is when the landfall occurred. So literally 12 minutes ago. So we're going to quickly see things begin to improve here because, like I said, the forward motion of this storm is pretty impressive still. We got it moving at 15 miles an hour here, so I would expect this to move through the Yucatan pretty quickly because this isn't a wide island, of course. You can go ahead and look at radar Omega here. In fact, you can see it's already gone through the first quarter of this area pretty quickly here. I do think that it's going to probably end up over here towards this area a little faster than expected. So probably by afternoon, we'll end up seeing this, clear the Yucatan here and be back out into the water. Actually, I take that back. I would say probably by 4 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time, which would be 3 o'clock Standard Time over there. By the way, as it stands right now, we are still dealing with a Category 2 hurricane. The pressure has risen, but the winds have not dropped off yet. By the next update, I do think we'll start to see a decrease. We may actually see this drop to a Category 1. The storm has done an exceptionally good job of holding itself together. You can actually see it on satellite here, how it's starting to kind of come apart as it's going over land. It's had an awful lot kind of work against it already, just leading up to this landfall here. The wind shear has been an issue. Dry air has been trying to get into this storm too, but it hasn't been significant enough to really slow it down. But the wind shear has also helped keep this thing weak, because at one point, I was thinking that this might have made landfall as a Cat 3. It was borderline a Cat 3. In fact, last night it actually did uptrend back to a Cat 3, but it just couldn't maintain it, which is good news. because the impacts would have been more severe over here. That's a major hurricane we're talking about. It's that little bit of difference. But even then, 5 miles an hour, that's not too much of a difference though. So I'm curious to see just what daylight will bring in regards to impacts, because this landfall had occurred overnight in the early morning hours here. And the thing to make note of now is we're just now starting to get the sun to pop up over towards areas like Cancun right now. To everybody tuning in, by the way, we are covering Hurricane Beryl as it's made its landfall in the Yucatan here. We're looking at a live camera over here towards Cancun, watching the backside of the storm impact the region. Still have some impressive waves coming in here still. This is probably when the storm surge threat's going to be highest over towards this area. And then we'll start to see conditions begin to improve over time here. It's just now become the sunrise is just now starting to come in across the region here too. Thankfully, we haven't seen a whole lot in the way of damage, which is great news. We'll just keep our fingers crossed that everyone did what they were supposed to do towards this region here. It's a pretty big storm. We also have a few other cameras that we've been kind of rotating in between. Here is Tulum, where we were very, very close to the eye wall here. Winds were blowing pretty close to about 100 miles an hour at a point. I couldn't get an exact reading, but just looking, if I were to sight read just off the trees alone, we were pretty daggone close. I think the eye might have passed just to the north of here. Then there are other webcams that we were looking at earlier that are currently down now. This happened just as the eye was passing over to, or the eye wall. But yeah, I can refresh these, and these aren't really coming back. Here we are. Yeah, you can tell that it's still nighttime here, or the sun's just now starting to rise, and then there's a buffering. Same with this camera here. This camera made it a little bit further along, but not by much. Wait. We might be back online here. Hey, this camera made it back. And I've been really impressed with this view in particular. Like, look at the view of the waves here. This is absolutely incredible. But we've been here since about 5:45 Eastern Daylight Time. Keep in mind that this area actually is considered as Eastern Standard Time, so they're technically an hour behind us, even though they're in the same time zone. Gotta love daylight savings time. But in any case, though, I'm sure you guys are hitting that like button. Probably gonna be here for at least another hour, or maybe about 45 minutes to an hour. I do have a little bit of errands to run, but I thought I'd at least try to get on here and touch base. We did talk about where this is expected to go next. We do have to let the people of South Texas know that this is more than likely going to be heading their way. As much as I hate to say it, I don't like to spread fear on this channel, that's for sure, but I've been continually noticing a trek or a little bit of a jog off to the northeast from the original path here. It's still moving in a northwest motion, but day by day I continue to see the center of this cone here push towards southern Texas. So Brownsville all the way up to Corpus Christi need to be paying attention, because this storm is going to sneak up on you if you aren't careful, and it's going to sneak up on you quick. And it's going to be a very similar scenario to what we had over here towards Cancun and the Yucatan, where we're going to have an overnight landfall from the looks of it. This is by Monday morning at 1 a.m. So we're going to be doing another overnight stream here, so you need to be ready. You need to really be doing your preparations now. Maybe we'll get this camera back soon. We'll try a refresh one more time with this one. Also, if you're new around here, I hope you consider subscribing, because we cover the tropics pretty often here. We also cover severe weather in the U.S. Sometimes we go out of country with it too, wherever resources are available. And also we do cover winter weather during certain times of year. That being said, though, hope you guys are enjoying the stream right now. What a view. Connection still could be choppy with this camera here. I think there was a brief power outage here, but they were able to restore it. So this one may cut in and out, but we have more available to us. The reason why I like this camera, though, is pretty obvious. So just, I mean, look at the view. This is incredible. This is incredible to see. Like, if you could see this without being in the conditions themselves, being able to smell the air all at the same time, I think that would be incredible. But obviously, if you want to be in the wind, I mean, obviously, if you're out in this right now, you're dealing with the wind-driven rain, and you're dealing with the strong winds themselves that go along with it. That's pretty brutal. Alright, meal's over. Now I can actually show my face here. So part of the reason why while I was eating my food here, I didn't want any ASMR involved. So the reason why I didn't show my face is because I was leaning back like this to make sure that when I was chewing, no sound would really get through the mic, or I could at least minimize it. I'm not sure how many people are actually ASMR fans, but I didn't want to chance it. By the way, this is over towards Tulum, where we had a very close pass of the eye as it was making landfall. Winds over here were gusting close to 100 miles an hour here for sure at one point. This camera had so much rain at one point that if you were out there, you probably wouldn't have been able to see your hand past your face, or your hand in front of your face. But in any case, man, it's pretty intense out here at a point. Like I said, this storm's a pretty fast mover, so we'll begin to see conditions improve here within the next couple hours here for sure, over towards this region. Here's another great view of the waves here. This is over towards Cancun. Also appreciate you guys helping us reach 10 likes here, by the way. Greatly appreciate that one. See if we can get a few more before we end up having to head off here. Probably still got a good bit of time before that happens, but probably could be 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Daylight Time before that happens. So might have another good hour here for sure. Here's some beach erosion, by the way, over here towards Playa del Carmen, by the way. It's a little bit more of an underrated impact when it comes to these tropical systems. Beach erosion is a big thing when it comes to these storms here. When they bring in waves like this, they definitely strip away at the sand for sure. Especially if these waters start to recede once all is said and done. Winds already look like they're starting to calm back down again, which is awesome. It's great to see that things are going to start to improve here momentarily. There are a couple things I'm going to check really quick here before we continue to go on here. Starting to get some of those rain squalls coming back in. Looks like we're dealing with more of the heavier rain at this point. The winds on the backside of the hurricanes, depending on how strong they are, aren't always as intense. We're still seeing some moderately strong winds. We're probably looking at about 35 to 40 miles an hour here. Over towards Playa del Carmen and also Cancun. Still have some really impressive storm surge over here though towards Tulum. Although it does look like we are starting to see it recede just slightly. Just as I say that, a bigger wave comes in. You can easily see though how the beach erosion becomes a problem. Even with 30 to 40 mile per hour winds, maybe even going to 50 occasionally, it does still create some incredible waves. Yeah, this camera's done for. Yeah, that camera's not coming back today. Let's go ahead and look at the radar here. I think the wind, this wind radar here is kind of lagging a little bit. So we'll just wait and see what happens next over the next little bit here. I'm thinking, yeah, I'm still thinking about 8:30 is when we'll be done. We got some errands to run a little bit later this morning, and then depending on how things look, we may come back in the afternoon to stream. We may just come up with a regular video here. But again, appreciate all the support so far, you guys. Make sure you guys are hitting that like button. 10 likes, we're at 10 likes right now. Maybe we could get close to 15, maybe. Also, if you're new around here, you're seeing the stream for the first time, don't forget to hit that subscribe button too. We'll be covering this again because this is going to be heading towards northern Mexico and southern parts of Texas too. So by Sunday night into Monday morning, we will be here. We'll be doing extensive coverage on that. And with the resources we have available, since we'll be in the US, will be a lot better. I cannot get over this view though. This is absolutely incredible to see. Also, a couple of things I'm looking at also in regards to southern Texas. They've already issued a marginal risk for severe weather. And why that is, for whenever we end up having tropical events here, there's always the chance of tropical tornadoes on the right front quadrant of the storm here. So as this heads towards the region, regardless of whether it's a direct impact or not, the chance of tropical tornadoes does exist from Brownsville all the way up towards Corpus Christi, maybe even all the way up into Galveston. So we need to make sure that we are paying attention once again. Make sure that we are doing all that we need to protect our home, protect ourselves, and much more. Let's see what we got in regards to lightning. We have plenty of lightning offshore. We do have a good bit that's actually onshore still too. So this storm has still got a lot of kick left in it. Sorry about this view here. Can't really zoom in all that well for this region. But from what we can see, of course, sun's starting to come out over towards this region. And you can see this eye is moving pretty fast. Like I said, I do think by this afternoon this is going to be back out on open water. And the question is at that point, how much more can this strengthen? Does look like we have some wind shear that may slow it down a little bit more. But if this ends up coming back over the water as a hurricane here, we could see this maybe make it back up to Cat 2, if not higher. And the reason why I say that there's wind shear further out ahead of it, because look at how these clouds are moving this way towards the upper levels. These are high cloud bases right here. So wind's going this way in contrast to the way the storm is moving and rotating. Actually, that could help it a little bit too. But there is some wind shear out ahead of it. We'll see if it ends up stopping it at all. Well, not even really stopping it, more or less slowing it down. Checking to see what the reports are out of Yucatan. I'm doing a little bit of reading here, guys. I'm just trying to see if we got any sort of reports from the Yucatan right now. Right now, I'm kind of in the dark with it right now. Okay, so I haven't. So right now, I'm not really finding anything. The only thing I know right now is that we're still dealing with a Category 2 hurricane at 110 mile per hour winds, has a forward motion to west-northwest at 15 miles an hour. And like I said, beyond just the satellite here, it's not much more I can really tell you other than that. We have the live cams, and like I said, we can expect conditions to improve pretty quickly here from the looks of it. If we were to look at the satellite here, like I said, towards the backside of it, there's not as much there. I mean, it's still an impressive storm, but like I said, conditions are going to improve pretty quickly over here. I think by the time we get towards lunchtime towards this area, this thing's going to be, the worst of this is going to be over for sure. I think we're going to be getting towards the central part of the Yucatan here probably within the next hour. And then after that, we'll probably see the rest of the Yucatan be clear by that point. So by the end of today, Yucatan should be out of the danger zone here, so to speak. My wrist hurts a little bit. Might need to step out real quick and get something to drink. You can even see you can even start to see the sand in the waves here now. So some pretty significant beach erosion is ongoing now. This camera's been a trooper here. It's been gone through a power outage, it seems, or some kind of outage. It's come back around and it's still dealing with those winds right now. Thing is, with this on a higher elevation, it's actually dealing with even stronger winds than what's on the surface. But even so, this is quite a view. Let's go ahead and take this full real quick. It's a little blurry, and I apologize for that. But like I said, you can still see the waves crashing onto the shore, which is absolutely beautiful to look at. It looks, like I said, it looks like for the most part the damage has stayed pretty minimal, which is really good. Or at least based off the views, the camera views that we have found so far. We can only hope that that continues to be the case. Yeah, I saw your messages, Drew. We'll talk about that later today. talk about that later today. I'm gonna get something to drink real quick. I'll be right back. Alright, got some OJ now, so we're good. Okay, so we're still struggling with that camera. We got incredible views here, though. Dang it, man. Wish we could keep this camera going. Okay, I'm trying to get out of the camera now. Oh, we're starting to get some pooling here. Might see a nice little push from the waves here. I think we're getting closer to high tide for this area, if I remember correctly. Probably might be on for another 30 minutes. Oop, sorry for bumping the mic, guys. Yeah, it's made landfall now. It's the worst of it's cleared Tulum, so you should be able to get in contact with your brother soon here. I actually would expect conditions to improve soon. This is a live cam that I have of Tulum right now. Still have some waves coming on the shore at this point, but worst of the wind is probably past now. I haven't seen much in the way of. I've been looking for reports right now from the area, and I haven't seen much. But I also haven't seen that much in the way of damage either, which is good news. Yeah, like I said, I try to cover as much weather as I can here. I'm really just a huge weather nerd that just likes metal, likes to play metal too. So there's that. But yeah, based off all the cameras I've looked at so far from Playa del Carmen, the worst I've seen has really been beach erosion, which, all things considered, that's a win. Like I said, I don't have the full scope of everything, but looking at these resorts right now, at the very least, I haven't even seen so much as even a little bit of roof damage, which is pretty impressive considering how strong the winds were blowing at one point. We still have some pretty heavy rain ongoing here, but definitely looks like the worst of the wind has passed through. I'm going to refresh this just so I can get a better look. But yeah, you can see the winds over Tulum have started to subside here. Wait, is this the temperature? Yeah, actually it is. Okay, yeah, this is lagging a little bit right now. Let me try and refresh this. Okay, so windy is a little bit behind schedule here. But if you look at the actual satellite, there's the center of circulation right there. I'll pause it so you can see it clearly. But yeah, the storm's definitely made landfall here. Windy's just a little bit behind right now. The latest update hasn't come in just yet. Sky even looks like it's starting to lighten up over here towards Cancun here. But yeah, the worst I've seen so far has been beach erosion 100%. Still have some strong winds here and there. Some stronger gusts are still possible, but I think the worst is just about over now. I'm probably going to be getting off of here within the next 30 to 40 minutes. Because I have my own errands I got to do. And obviously there's other weather to talk about in the US, so we'll be covering that too. Hang on a second here. Uh-oh. Shit. Shit. We're losing frames. Not good. Might have too many cameras up. Having little lag spike issues here. I think we might have too much stuff open. Oh, I know what the problem is. I'll be right back. I gotta do a quick thing to fix this. I think one of my Ethernet cable might have gotten disconnected. Shoot! Hey, it's working again. Sorry about that, you guys. We're starting to come back around now. Just give me a minute. Just give it a minute. Just make sure you hit refresh. Apologize for that. Yeah, we've stabilized it now. Yeah, I think we're good now. That was a little wake-up call. Pays to learn how to work on computers just a little bit here. Not a master, definitely not an expert, but definitely helped in that instance. All right, so we'll cycle through the cameras here, and then we'll see what's next. I may end up having to restart the computer after this stream ends. Yeah, it's still giving me a hard time. I might have to end this a little early if it doesn't disconnect me. Again, I'm appreciative of all the support this morning. We'll have a video out later this afternoon discussing everything with Beryl, also discussing severe weather and over the states for this weekend, and we'll be going on from that point. I'm trying to see if I can fix this. Daggone it, man. Again, really sorry that we're dealing with these problems right now. Again, hoping everyone's doing well here. I'm trying to fix this problem. So if you hear me silent for a couple of minutes, I'm just trying to concentrate and get things fixed up. Okay. Hopefully that works. Ugh. Really don't want to have to restart this midstream. If I do have to restart this, I might just actually end it sooner. I'm trying my best to make this work here. It seems like it partially gets back up and running, but I think it's something going on with my Ethernet cable, like it's just not registering or something. Wish one of my mods were here. Could get a little bit of extra help from them. Maybe the computer is running hot. Oh, yep, that's exactly what it is. Alright, so we're gonna end this within the next couple of minutes here, folks, because it's pretty clear to me my computers run hot. I don't have the most state-of-the-art computer, I'm not gonna lie to you. And I've been having to run this thing pretty hard over the last few days. We've streamed. This is the third day in a row we've done a stream here, so I do probably need to shut off my computer at some point. I should have done it last night. I thought I did, but I guess it just went into sleep mode instead of a restart, but that's my fault. Wait, hang on a minute. It's starting to work. It's starting to work slowly. Let me not speak too soon. But I think we might have stabilized it finally. Alright, let's see if it can handle the webcam. So far it looks like we're holding steady. Alright, everybody, just make sure you're hitting that refresh button. I think we're good now. Oh boy. It's a fun way to end the stream. We'll try to hang out till 8:30. But like I said, there is still a chance that this thing might go the other way on me and end up kicking me out. Just in case I do, it'll probably be towards the end. Like I said, we're towards the end of this stream here. We don't have much more in the way of webcams to look at beyond this point here. So, if by chance that happens, I want to say again, thanks to everyone who's tuned in so far, everyone who's hit that like button, any new subscribers as well. I haven't seen any names pop up, so that also is a thing, but beyond that point, though, I'm thankful to everyone this morning here. I'm hoping everyone who may have relatives in this area is okay. It looks like the damage has stayed pretty minimal, which is good news. But we're still dealing with some of the backside of the storm. Conditions are, however, improving. So there's some good news there. Just got to get through this for at least a couple more hours from the looks of it. Also, make sure if you haven't hit that like button that you do so. We still have some pretty impressive waves, and it's going to continue to be that way even though conditions are improving. Those winds will be blowing on shore probably for the rest of the day, but we're going to see these wave heights decrease as we continue to go forward. In regards to where the hurricane is right now, it's kind of hard to tell where the eye is actually. I think it's somewhere around here. Might need to increase the forward speed of this, maybe, if it's at all possible. Let's zoom in, zoom out. I know another solution for this, though. Kind of hard to tell. It just looks like a big mess right now. That also lets you know the storm's weakening. Try this other source here. Tulum looks okay right now, Hammer. Tulum's okay now. Here's a look at Tulum Skycam. You still got the waves, but as far as the winds have definitely died down now, which is great news, of course. I haven't gotten any reports on any injuries or damage right now. Damage has looked pretty minimal from what I've seen on all the Skycams so far. Still have some strong winds here and there, but nothing like what it once was about, let's say, hour and a half ago, where the winds were really starting to howl. We're still gonna get those heavy rainfall squalls, but beyond that, I think we're on the back end of this now. All right. Yeah, it's become a huge mess right up in here now. Somewhere in there is the eye, or the center of circulation at this point. The eye is just about gone. It's completely covered in clouds at this point. Good news is, whatever we did earlier to stabilize the stream, it seems like it's actually worked. We got a good little patch going. Alright, but 8:30 though, 8:30 Eastern Daylight Time, we do have to head out. So another 15 minutes or so, we're going to call this a stream. And then on top of that, I don't have a whole lot of information sources beyond once we get past Cancun and the eastern part of the Yucatan here. So a little further out towards the west, we're kind of blind. We just have a little bit of radar data available. Well, radar data is very minimal towards this region, so it's a little bit of a challenge. I wish we could stream longer. I'll see if I can, actually. I might be able to hold off on something real quick here. In fact, let me go ahead and make a phone call really quick. I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. So, yeah, we're gonna have to leave at 8:30. So, Little context for you: family member is needing to go to the doctor and they don't have anyone to take them, so I'm choosing to I'm stepping up for them. That's really all it is. Thankfully, it doesn't seem like things are too bad over here. Yucatan has pretty good infrastructure here, thankfully, in regards to its building codes. So that's why I think damage has stayed to a minimum. But yeah, about 15 minutes here. We're gonna call this one a stream. We'll be back later this afternoon to discuss the weather over the lower 48 and what to expect with Beryl from that point. So look for that video later this evening, and then we'll get ready to cover Beryl Sunday night. So gonna be pretty busy here on the channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell to stay up to date on the latest for the channel here. But we'll hang out here for a little longer and see what other cameras we can view as we continue to go forward here. As I said before, the main thing I've noticed is more or less beach erosion, more so than anything else. Any sort of damage to buildings has been pretty much minimal from what I've seen so far. I've looked for reports right now and I haven't really seen any, which is good news. Of course, it's just become daylight within the course of the last hour and a half to 2 hours over here, so it's still unknown what the exact scope of the damage is over here. I'm probably not going to at least know for a couple of hours as to just what the impacts are exactly. What I'm seeing here, it still looks like we aren't getting any new reports out of Yucatan here. Only thing that we can report, other than the fact that the landfall is 5 miles northeast of Tulum, that's pretty much it. Yeah, I don't see any new reports. Let's see if this camera is up and running. Yep, this one's still down. This is the calmest camera I've seen. That looked pretty recent. Oh yeah, that's the one that's down. This one's also down. We already got this view. We're just trying to run through whatever other views we can find here. It's another down camera. I think this is a still shot right here that we're looking at. You can still see it's pretty nasty out there. Worst conditions still look like they've passed through at this point for the region. We've already looked at these. Let's go ahead and look at this one. See if this camera is still up and running. Yep, still got it. This has been the best view for any sort of wave heights here. You can see the white caps here, showing a lot of wave activity here. A lot of these waves are crashing down. I expect some pretty immense beach erosion to be occurring here. And this is just outside of the Iberluster Hotel. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. But the hotel zone in Cancun here, essentially, in rough translation. But yeah, the hotel section here is going to get pounded with waves here, but for the most part it looks like the damage is still going to be pretty minimal at this point. You're going to see these waves eventually start to subside as we continue to go forward here, though. Again, this is a look at the satellite loop on Beryl as it continues to pass the Yucatan. We're almost about halfway there, actually. Like I said, this is a quick moving storm, so I think by the end of today, the worst of the weather is going to be out of here at this point. I'm interested to see what kind of strength this will be at as it heads out of the Yucatan and back into the open waters. It's definitely not going to keep its strength as a category 2. I do think it will probably either be a category 1 or low or high-end tropical storm. I do expect it to re-strengthen a little bit as it goes back towards the open waters here. I think wind shear is going to be a big factor with this, so we'll have to see how that ends up, how the Beryl ends up faring with that. But I do think that the environment's a little bit better suited over here for development as we go further along. But we're about to get off of here. Hope you guys have had an awesome morning so far. Hopefully all of your relatives, loved ones, or you yourself are safe and doing well. Also, check back in this afternoon as we'll probably have a forecast video up discussing what happens next with Beryl, along with severe weather in the lower 48. Until then, you guys take care, and I will see you then. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe button to stay up to date. And also make sure you get that notification bell on too. No problem, Justin. I'll see you later this afternoon, hopefully.